Hello! Today we're going to be taking a look at Fall of Cybertron Kickback. And one of the first things you'll notice about the packaging is it is in Japanese. Which, alright, that would make sense because it's from Takara. Yes, this is the Japanese release, so the paint job's probably going to be a little bit better than the American release. I was actually kind of taken aback because the packaging I'm used to looking at is something like this. Now, just a quick comparison, I know it's for two different figures, but you get the general idea of the difference in the packaging. Along with the back. You know, I cannot read a single thing, but again, here's the difference in the American and the Japanese release. So anyway, I'm kind of anxious to open this guy up, so we'll take a look. Hold on, we'll be right back with this. Okay, I know this is just a little weird side note, but I've noticed this. That in the States lately, for the packages, they've gone to more of a, shoestring isn't the right, it's more of a, it's not a plastic tie wrap. They've used a different tying material, and I've noticed that with Takara, it's like back in the good old days whenever they used to use these wire and plastic tie wraps or tie, I'm probably not calling them the right thing. Anyway, I thought it was just a little weird thing that, again, this is the difference between American releases and Japanese. Okay, here he is out of his packaging, and I must say I am very thoroughly impressed at how screen accurate it is. Plus, it's not showing up on the camera, but the paint, wow, I'm just blown away at the amount of kind of yellowish oranges, or I'm sorry, yellowish greens here on the body, and I mean just the overall purple aesthetic. I mean the paint job was well done on this guy. Yeah, I'm not at all disappointed. One of the things that I do want to get out of the way is he comes with the Gear Shredder weapon from the Fall of Cybertron game, and the distance on it is not that great. But I mean, it does fire decent enough, and I mean, he can definitely hold it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I am not disappointed whatsoever. And to be honest, one of the things I found interesting was it does show that you can plug this in to both sides of the weapon, make kind of like a crossbow looking thing. But personally, I think that's stupid, and it was never that way in the game, so why even bother? One of the things that I do like is the ability to make it wings, but one thing I want to do before I forget is comparison with his G1 self. If he'll stand up here. Besides the size difference, I mean, overall you got to consider there's been 30 years of advancement in design and toy making and all that and such. And plus, he didn't look like this in the game. I mean, spot-on representations for the 80s cartoon and the game, and I mean, definitely it's the same guy. I mean, it's kind of hard to give the advantage to the old toy whenever the new one is so far proving itself. But hey, they were both great for their day and age. But anyway, there's a quick comparison of them and the weapons they come with. And like I said, one of the things that, even though he looks like this in the game, if you want him to look like the original, his arms up here, let's see here, let's make sure it's on camera. Basically, you would find there's kind of a place where they plug in up here on the wings, or the arms, whatever you want to call them, and get the other one. So, it can't swing back like the old toy, but, I mean, if you're wanting to give him, I guess, a winged look, you know, I guess you could kind of go with something like that. I mean, if you want him to just be in a relaxed position, or, you know, whatever. Personally, I think this is the way I'll display it, with them as wings opposed to arms. The arms are cool, but I'm just a sucker for winged Transformers. So I'll have to mess around with it later and see if I can get the position of the wings to my liking. But you know what? Even with wings, he doesn't look all that bad, honestly. So anyway, I mean, he is a grasshopper, and what do grasshoppers have? They have wings. So anyway, alrighty. Well, I'm going to attempt to follow the Japanese instructions, or maybe look up a video tutorial, and we'll get this guy transformed into insect mode. Okay, well, you know, it's not bad, and honestly, I can kind of live with it, because you have the two arms here, and then you have the grasshopper-esque sort of looking leg, but it kind of fails in translation. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I don't like the figure. You know, and if they tried to get me to design something like this, I'd probably fail. I mean, yes, you can vaguely see the shape of the leg. I mean, in person, it stands out more than it is on the camera. It looks like a hot mess on the camera. But in all actuality, I mean, yeah, I guess it's fine. And have you ever seen a Cybertronian grasshopper? Maybe they have legs shaped like that in the fiction. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to go with a Earth grasshopper, then, well, here's your best bet. As far as grasshopper, beast mode, I mean, if you're going for, like I said, grasshoppers that we know of in the real world versus fictional grasshoppers, hands down, the 80s one. Like I said, though, I don't necessarily not like this one, and it does have its benefits. I'll give it that. I'm not going to say I just hate it. Matter of fact, one of the things that I'm really kind of falling for is the beast mode head. It's really kind of cool, because I didn't notice this until I was transforming it. The beast mode has a mouth on it, which I kind of find cool. I mean, it kind of ups the gnarly and ups the gnarliness on this. And again, the paint, I mean, it's fine. Really great. I mean, the Decepticon symbol there. And I mean, yeah, so what? Okay, the legs are a little bit misshapen, so to speak. But, I mean, it's a robotic grasshopper from another world. I mean, what are you wanting? I mean, beyond that, you know, does it have any cool flying poses? I mean, I guess, with the legs being static, you can't really get too many poses in beast mode. Another thing is the chest armor in beast mode locks down the arm wing things, so you can't really get any motion. So I mean, if you're gonna pose them in beast mode, this is about as much as you're gonna get. You know, that's kind of saddening, but it's not just a total kill. I mean, it has its pros and its cons. Okay, yes, you don't get so much posability, but what you do with the joints and stuff that carry over from robot mode, I mean, I wouldn't mind displaying it like this. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, I'd prefer to have it where I can, you know, have a flying pose. I mean, you'll have to bend the rules and, you know, kind of change some stuff if you're going to do that. I mean, can't really do all that much with the legs, because they basically, in the transformation, what you kind of see is they are on a ball joint, but again, with the endpoints of the leg or chest piece or whatever this is, it limits that. So you can't really change it all that much, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. So I mean, if you're gonna flex the rules a little bit, yes, I mean, that's kind of a cool position there. So I mean, you know, it's just whatever your preference is, really. And there was a couple of things I wanted to mention, and it doesn't really matter if they're in beast mode. I thought these claws were on pins or something of the sort, and actually they're static. So in this entire arm, besides the ball joint down here and the joint down here, that's all the motion you can get. is that it bends right here and it comes down to a ball joint. You know, when the wings are out, obviously, you're going to have a little bit more flexibility with it. But, you know, I mean, it's whatever. And I also forgot in robot mode, the robot arms form the abdomen in beast mode. And the armor on this, I can't really do it without it. In beast mode, it's kind of like slid down. In a robot mode, you can keep them slid down so it becomes like an armor deal for their arm, but they're meant to slide up as opposed to the way they were earlier in the video. So anyway, again, final thoughts on Kickback. I'm going to be honest with you, he's one of my favorites from the original series. But no, I mean, no real big complaints. I mean, the way the instructions specify his beast mode to be, again, limited posability. But I mean, if that's your biggest gripe, then, and you can get around it in a manner of speaking, then what's there really to gripe about? So, again, here's comparison with his G1 self. You know, if I did an old versus new on this thing, the more I look at it, I'm not suffering from buyer's remorse, which is basically just another form of denial. You know, it's hard to find a perfect Transformer. You're going to have pros and cons with all of them, especially with the new generations line. There's so many great features about them, and then there's some of them that suffer from, you know, a drawback in one form or another. Overall, I can live with it, and now that I know I can get around it, his beast mode, not so bad. Excuse me. Oh. Oh. Something got me there. Anyway, you know, if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, for the Generations one, I mean, it hits pretty high. We're gonna go with like a 6 or maybe even a 7. So, one of the things before I go, it does mention, I'm not going to do it on camera, but it does mention you can actually attach the gear shredder to him. Personally, I mean, if you want a mech'd out grasshopper, that's fine, I guess. I may do it one day, but right now I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, this has been the review for Transformers Generations Kickback. Okay, just another side note. I was wrong about the legs. I got to looking at the packaging, and I believe the instructions had told me to do it the other way, but I believe this is the correct way, because in the game and on the artwork, this claw forms the back foot. Now, due to the transformation, you can't really quite do that. But anyway, I thought I would just throw that in there. Thanks.